Hello everyone, it's me Max, and you know the drill. Can you beat Half-Life 2 without killing a single enemy? Y'all gave me way more than 2k likes, so here it is. The rules are the following. If you didn't know, I'm not allowed to kill anything. This includes manhacks, gunchips, and tripods. I am, however, allowed to use outside forces to kill, like using the Combine's traps against them, tricking them into shooting explosive barrels, or using things like anti-lighting bait, since technically I'm not doing it. Trust me, this would be completely impossible otherwise. Now, I know someone already did this challenge. I'll be getting back to that. But to add some extra challenge, I'll be playing this on hard mode, and no backwards accelerated hopping. However, I am allowed to save as much as I want. I will be covering each chapter just like I did in the first game, and skipping the first 2 chapters since you don't fight anyone in them. So, enjoy my pain and suffering.
No, fuck off.
The first real chapter of the run. This chapter introduces actual enemies, aka the Metro Cops and Manhacks. A few minutes in, and I was already starting to feel the absolute pain of playing this game on hard mode. I had to reload a couple of times during the first section because I just kept dying. Oh yeah, and also this happened. Thankfully, a lot of the first chapters come with a lot of health packs to use, so it was not really that much trouble in terms of health. I stupidly, but effectively, used an explosive barrel as a shield for bullets. Now, the one part in the chapter that kinda irked me was this one part in the canal. I had to use a good box jump to get through here since, well, there's a damn machine gunner up there. It took me a bit, but I eventually managed to run past all of them using the boxes as cover. Thankfully, there were medkits here, but then I remembered my good old friend the Barnacle, aka Instant Game End. But now that we have the power of physics, I was easily able to get past. Then I had to use barrels as cover, and I used an explosive barrel to blow up the way out. After messing around with the Barnacles, I got to the part with the Manhacks, which was a bit annoying, but was not too hard to run past them all. The city patrol then jump scared me, but I also slipped by just fine. The Manhacks were getting pretty annoying though. But after using the tried and true tactic, I managed to reach the next chapter with some of my mental stability intact. Ah yes, the boat chapter. The beginning is a walk in the park, but this chapter got progressively harder as time went on. Since I can't kill any enemies, I need to dodge the Metro Cops and not accidentally run into them like a dumbass. At least there was others to help me along the way. I stopped by the first gate and got some weapons before shooting the explosive barrel early so I didn't need to go through a bunch of Metro Cops inside the building. Then I dodged some more Metro Cops, I have no idea how that guy lived, and now I'm at the second gate. I made my way to the back of the place, picked up some health, and did a little grenade jump to skip the section and open the gate quickly. I then got the gun on my boat, which was mostly useless, but I am allowed to shoot at the heli to scare it off. The rest of this section was actually pretty easy, as I avoided killing the chopper by doing a grenade jump and opening the gate just like that. Blah blah blah, this is just some cutscene chapter that introduces you to the gravity gun. Although, I did make this epic shot. Oh wait, what? I'm getting, hold on 1 second, I'm getting a call from Breen.
Let's see, the last time I saw you... Gordon, what the hell are you doing? What are you... Listen, I expected you to come in and fight your way through the Combine's forces, but this is too much. Why are you running past all of my men? Are you trying to embarrass me? You are tricking people into shooting each other. Gordon, now, I want you to stop that nonsense this instant. No! They are so emotionally damaged by your insane lack of fighting spirit, they can't even fight anymore.
So you'd think this chapter would be very hard thanks to the huge amount of zombies, but actually it was not too bad. It wasn't too hard to avoid all the zombies because I was just able to jump right above them most of the time. One of the biggest problems I had actually was getting lost because I only played this game once. Although I definitely researched all the best ways to play this game and studied speedruns this time unlike my first video, so I was well prepared going into this. And while we're here, yes, I did read your comments about quick saving and how I should have been doing that, and yeah, I should have. I finally learned how to use my F6 and F9 keys, so thank you for telling me that. Anyways, most of this chapter was easy, although the parts of the fast zombies were a little bit of an issue. Not only was it hard to avoid them, but it was also freaking terrifying.
Hi.
I took the shotgun from Gregory for some reason, I don't know why. It's not like I was gonna even use this thing. Then I had to survive being stuck in a room with a whole bunch of fast zombies. I was barely able to make it out of there alive, but thankfully my roundabout skills were good enough. I then made it to the part where you had to wait for the pulley system, and thankfully there's this small pipe thing you can stand on the whole time. And after waiting 10 hours, I jumped off and got into the thing just barely. Yeah, I probably could have used some crazy speedrun tactic, but I didn't feel like doing all that. Then I got to the hardest part of the chapter, where you need to lead Gregory to the end to have him hold the gate open for you. It sounded easy on paper, but Gregory would quickly get stuck fighting zombies, and contrary to what you would believe, he is not an unkillable god.
Help me, brother! I cannot fight them all alone!
So I had to personally escort him, distracting the zombies long enough so he could kill all of them, but I had quite a lot of trouble with that. Eventually, he was able to pull the lever, and I finally made it to... Well, actually, first I had to make it past the snipers and the Combine on the way to Highway 17, but it wasn't too hard. This chapter introduces Combine Shoulders. Oh my god. This chapter introduces Combine Soldiers, which are a bit tougher to run away from. The shotgunners are real nasty though, as they can kill you very quickly, especially on hard mode. I did an unnecessary grenade jump and ran past all of the Combine. Then I had to wait next to my dying friend as all the Resistance members killed enough Combine to activate the cutscene. Then I actually made it to Highway 17. Now, since I cannot backhop and fly around like an orange birdie, I had to take the buggy. And to be frank, a lot of these sections were easy as most of the stops are completely optional, although I still stop by them for extra health. Then I met Odessa Cubbage, who gives you the tracking explodey device. And as a thank you to him, I proceeded to abandon all of them and jump past the gate. Why? I care more about the gunship living than Cubbage, of course. Now, doing this meant two things. One, I would not need to kill the gunship, and two, I don't have the buggy anymore. So it's all walking from here. And the Ants Lions were really being a pain in the ass. Literally. I then reached the Crane Bay thingy, which was pure hell. Thankfully, I was able to expertly sneak past this shotgun guard by giving him a little love tap. Then I rushed over to the crane. I then carefully pushed the bridge down to proceed without killing anybody. Then I had to somehow survive running past dozens of guards and ones that would block my damn way. Get the hell out of my— Eventually I damage sponged my way through after like 20 deaths. Then I reached the small jump I would need my car for. But oh wait, I don't have it anymore. So what did I do? I blew my legs apart, of course. Then I had to do even more walking, and walking, and walking. Then I had to trick some roller mines into killing themselves, and I reached some Combine. But then I managed to avoid them by running behind these houses. Then more walking and walking and walking. Then I reached the big bridge. I took a shortcut under the bridge to get more health, then I jumped onto a poison zombie to get back up quickly. I used a grenade jump to skip the fighting I'd have to do to disable the force field, and the zombie tunnel was easy. As long as I just kept running like hell, I'll be fine. While walking, I took in the beautiful scenery. Then I jumped past a Combine checkpoint. Who thought they could stop me with that? Silly Combine. They have no idea I left my buggy with my best friend Odessa Cubbage. The other checkpoint was easy to get past though. Then I reached the last area where I have to, kill people. But nah, I just jumped off the cliff and skipped everything. Boy, I sure do love leaving my friends to die. Yes, I decided to start this chapter at the part where you see Laszlo die. I know technically it doesn't start here, but who cares? Anyways, this chapter was, pretty annoying, let's just say that. This part really introduced the Ant Lions and how annoying they can be. It was not too hard to avoid the Ant Lions and get over the sand, but I accidentally touched the sand and decided to just make a run for it. Then I eventually reached the big mama of antlions, and I was worried I would be unable to progress here since it had to die for me to continue. But thankfully there was a gunner over here that took it down for me. Then I collected one of the most important things I could ever get in this run, the bug bait. Now yes, I could use it to lure antlions into murder, but also, when you hit someone directly with the bug bait, they get stunned for about 5 seconds. Because the bug bait is also infinite, this will be very useful for getting past certain enemies. Now heading over to the beaches, I used the antlions as distractions while I hid in the water and snuck past all the machine gunners. Then I painstakingly made it up the hill and ran through the small enclosure with barely any health left. Thankfully, I reached an antlion spawn point and they quickly took care of the Combine for me. Now, there is this small part with a gunner and a dropship spawning Combine. I had to strategically throw bait into the sights of the gunners so I could sneak by and scare away the dropship. Then I reached the much less annoying cliff face. Now, we have reached a part that I dreaded ever since I started this run. The entrance of Nova Prospekt. Not only was this part hard, but there's also a gunship that I have to kill to open up a passage so I could continue. Now, after so many deaths, I did manage to get most of the enemies killed thanks to the antlions, but getting this passage open was a completely different story. No matter how long I stood around waiting, the passage would never open up. So for the next 3 hours, I did nothing but try to find some way to glitch my way through there. I even tried stacking up boxes to get out of bounds. I was this desperate, man, but I quickly found out it was hopeless. I put a command in to see the hitboxes stopping me from getting out of bounds, and I did find this small gap I could get through, but it wouldn't work anyway, because even if I did get out, there was absolutely no way back in. But then, I found a way past. Technically. Now, if you don't care about me explaining why I had to kill this gunship and fail the challenge here, go to this timestamp, because it's time to talk about Quick Clip. So, Quick Clip, if you didn't know, is a strange glitch in the game that is activated once you do a specific thing with the boat all the way back in Water Hazard. It's pretty hard to explain, so I'll include a video going into detail about it in the description. But basically, the game despawns the boat at certain loading points if you are not in it. And if you get out just at the right moment while entering the loading zone, you magically get no clip, without any cheats. Why? I have no idea. But after you do this, you can go all the way back to a lone barnacle, let it grab you, and now you are out of no clip. But now, when you grab objects and jump towards a wall with them, you teleport through the wall. That's a horrible rundown of Quick Clip probably, but I tried my best. Now, it's time to get back to the man who claimed he beat Half-Life 2 as a pacifist. I am in no way trying to throw shade to this guy's video. I think it's a great video and you should check it out. But there's one small issue I have with that video.
By pulling off some crazy maneuvers with some black magic and some voodoo in there just thrown in on chapter 4, you were able to mess up your physics so that you can just clip through walls. Cool, I guess. I have no idea how or why this works, but I'll take it.
He did not really beat the game. Once he reached this area, he found that you could use this Quick Clip thing to skip the section entirely, but he didn't go back and do it himself. Instead, he played a video of a speedrunner doing it. So he didn't know that activating Quick Clip actually breaks the game entirely. You cannot get hurt by gunshots anymore, and zombies make you stuck for some reason, which kinda destroys the whole point of the challenge, so I didn't do it. I ended up taking it to the chin and killing the gunship. But I didn't give up, of course. If you saw my first video, you know what I will do. I continued on. I mean, it's just one kill after all. I'm sure I'll be forgiven for it at the pearly gates, so don't worry. After all of the depression of killing one innocent gunship, with the pain and suffering of all the gunshot wounds I have all over my body, I finally reached Nova Prospekt. A chapter I was slightly worried about thanks to the huge presence of Combine, but I made my way through the first hallways without any issues, and I met some turrets. Now, people in my last video complained about how me destroying turrets counted as killing enemies because of the game's code classifying them as enemies. Alright, fair point. But I can mess with these turrets all I want, because they are indestructible. So do not complain to me in the comments about me committing robot genocide, alright? Anyways, I made it past the turret-filled hallways, escaped to the big mama antlion, and then I met a bunch of Combine guarding an area. Thankfully, I had the help of my Antlion friends to carry out the genocide for me, so technically I didn't kill anyone. Then I deactivated the gate, and thank God for bug bait, because if I did not have that stuff, I'd be a dead man. This game is way harder to take advantage of compared to the first one. I had to utilize the Antlions a ton at this part because there were too many Combine to just run past. But I got through most of the parts without too much trouble. It just took a while. And my health was running kinda low, so at the kitchen section I died quite a lot of times here. But eventually, the Antlions prevailed. And then I got into a bit of an entanglement. Oh, do I hate you so much. I met Alex, and thankfully she was mostly able to take care of the Combine by herself. But some parts were just too much for her. Shotguns are basically her kryptonite, so I had to stun them with bug bait as she took care of absolutely everyone. Now here's the part that pretty much made me lose all hope. This freaking vent. 3 head crabs that completely blocked the way. Now, I was able to force 2 of them out using a box, but the third one just wouldn't budge thanks to the drop I needed to make in the vents. Now, in the other video of this game, this guy used Quick Clip to skip this part, but I wasn't able to do that. So I thunk real hard, even harder than the most I've ever thunked before, and I got an idea. I reloaded a save, grabbed an explosive barrel, and then shoved it into the vent. The head crab wouldn't blow it up, but you know what would? That's right, the trip mine that was set up by the Combine! So I moved up the explosive barrel and... Problem solved! Yes, that might be a bit questionable, but technically I already failed the challenge, so just cut me some slack. After all of that, I had to get past a bunch of Combine soldiers once again. I led them away from the entrance and stunned them with bug bait, but my low health just kept destroying everything I hold dear to me. This was probably the most annoying part of the whole run for me. The low health and the shotgun soldiers really didn't help my situation. After many deaths, I managed to get by though, taking out the power from the gate and running by, pelting everyone with bug bait. I then reached a control room with 2 guards inside of it. And this part right here is the bane of my existence. So normally at this part you'd kill the 2 guards, obviously. Then you would wait around for Alex to hack the turrets, then use them to fight off the waves of enemies. But I could not kill the 2 guards, so I had to run around like an idiot trying to avoid these guys while I waited for Alex to hack the turrets. I ended up setting turrets to face the stairway, and I stood down there with a barrel to block all the bullets while I waited for them to be hacked, which ended up working surprisingly. I then made sure the turrets stood up against the waves of enemies, and I continued on. I also brought one of the turrets for both emotional support and protection. I then made it to the 2nd place and played a game of One Night at Nova Prospect, throwing grenades out and trying to keep Alex's turrets up. After that, I made it to the Dark Flare section. With the help of Alex and my sentry, I was able to get past and reach the place Mossman was hiding in, so we could have a cool, calm, and collected discussion. At the teleporter, I just set up some sentries and made it out of there just fine.
Wide, but that was over a week
Hold on
ago.
1 second, getting another
What
call.
do you mean? Gordon and I were just there a minute ago.
Fuck you!
Freeman!
I hope you fucking die in a fire, you piece of shit.
Alright, time to get help from the Freeman worshippers. This chapter was a bit of a doozy to say the least, as most of the Combine here are insane, and my followers are nowhere near as much of a Chad as me, so they would die quickly. Another thing that really sucks is that the Metro Cops are immune to bug bait. Why in the world would the developers make them affected by that? Anyways, the first 3 sections are not that big of a problem. What's really the issue are the indoor sections that are inside the apartments. The Metro Cops inside would slice through my rebels like a hot knife through butter, so I died a lot here. Noticing a trend, huh? Thankfully, there were a bunch of items I could use as cover. I was trying my best to keep my rebels alive, and eventually I made it through the apartments. No joke, I spent like 40 minutes on this part alone. The underground section was a bit of a pain too. I was able to make the Combine shoot me instead of my buddies, and they ended up killing them. But at the end of the tunnel, I had to freaking wait for a guy to blow up the exit for me. And well, I didn't have enough health to wait there, so I built a small fortress from cars around here and hid until the way was open for me. Now, getting back out in the city, I met some more people, ran into some buildings, assaulted people with bug baits, helped people with murder, and ran past a bunch of fast zombies and Combine. This part was actually pretty fun, despite the deaths. It was cool using bug bait and running past all the fast zombies. Also this.
Declare in a safe spot. Now we can join up with them. There's a command
After breaking into a room and listening to Alex say something about disabling the generator to, like, save mankind or whatever, I went outside and took some of their valuable health resources before abandoning everyone with a grenade jump. Then I got to the sewer section, which wasn't too hard. Although, the facility with all the catwalks was a whole new challenge. And I couldn't figure out how to do the super cool grenade skip, so I rode up the elevator while trying to use barrels as cover. After riding up, I ran by everyone, jumped onto a metal beam, onto this metal drum, and onto a ladder, all while somehow avoiding enemy fire. I failed many times at this part, by the way. Anyways, I picked up a few medkits and hid behind a wall, then I jumped down and ran past the doors to reach the next chapter, which is my favorite chapter of the run, actually. I had to avoid some snipers in the first bit. Then I entered a building Barney was trapped in. Now normally I would have to help him get out of there by killing the snipers, but you know me. Instead, I jumped down and grenade jumped past the barrier that Barney would need to open for me. Who the hell needs friends to help when you can just blow your legs apart? And don't worry, Barney was magically able to get past the snipers all by himself. Don't worry guys, he was just acting. Anyways, Barney would prove very useful actually, since he basically has infinite health. So he was able to take care of the Combine for me. After stupidly murdering a soldier for no reason, we made our way to the Citadel. Barney killing people for me as I hid in the corner like a small child throwing trash at the enemy. Now, in Overwatch Nexus, I encounter floor turrets. They must be disabled to continue on. Now, I'm not counting these as kills, but if you really want to count these as kills, if, I don't know, they count as enemies in the code or something, I destroyed 7 floor turrets. I personally believe that I'm just disabling them since turrets have proved to be very resilient, but oh well. Now, it was not too hard destroying the first 2 generators as I just had to use bug bait and my friends to take care of the Combine. The 3rd generator put me in quite the predicament as me and Barney had to stay alive inside this small room while the Combine tried to get in from both directions. And even though Barney was a true Chad, he could not take all of that damage and live to tell the tale. So I had to distract the soldiers with bug bait and my body for Barney, throwing the grenades away too. And after a painful 20 minutes, I managed to survive all of them. And I destroyed the last generator. I then got onto the rooftop and was easily able to skip this part with a well-placed grenade jump. The Combine on the bridge, though, kept blocking my damn way. Then I encountered the Striders. I don't really like these guys. On hard mode, they are able to kill you within seconds, so I had to be real careful running past them in the yard. But I managed! And then I made it past all the Combine soldiers and got away from the underground Strider with an okay amount of health. The bug bait proved crucial for surviving all the soldiers here. After that, I reached the street section where I managed to flee past the Striders and jump past this one before it could even hurt me. Hey listen, I'm sorry if I sound like a broken record, but you can only say I ran away from these guys in so many different ways, alright? Inside the building, I then had to survive the fight of my life as all the Combine closed in on me. But I found all the suit batteries and health packs I needed, did parkour, expertly avoided all the gunfire, and then I reached the Strider boss fight. Now, at first I thought this was going to be impossible because I used the command to see the invisible walls, and oh my god. But then I saw a hole in one of the walls, so I thought, hey, I could just run over there. Even if you somehow avoid the laser there is yet another invisible wall. But it would not open unless I killed the 2 Striders first. I did manage to get out of bounds, but once again, there's no way back in. I was waiting a bit to see if the rebels could kill them, but no dice. They just wouldn't fire their damn rocket launchers. Technically, I could try to let them destroy the Striders for me, but my patience was running so thin I didn't want to wait for them. So I ended up killing them, which made me sad. But I finally made it out of this chapter.
Green, tell him I said, fuck you!
My sorrow over your unfortunate choice of career path.
We are almost at the end of the run. By the way, thank you for watching up until this point. It means a lot. And hey, if I was doing anything wrong in this run that could have made my run so much easier, let me know in the comments, please. Because I really want to get better at this old game that I started playing only last year. Anyways, our benefactors. I thought this chapter would be way harder since there's no cover and there's an abundance of Combine, but it was not too bad. I got my super gravity gun and I speed walked past all of them while hopping around like I was playing Fortnite or some shit. Then I reached the elevator part. Now I had to get back to the superchargers and hide behind a wall until the elevator made it all the way up. Then I had to grab a piece of a monitor and use it as a shield as the elevator went up, and it worked just fine. I made it to the top with a bit of health. And I managed to get past all the Combine and reached another charger just in time. And now, oh god damn it, this part. This long hallway right here caused me way more pain and suffering than any other part in this run. I used one of these prison cells as cover to get as far as possible, then I had to ditch it. All I could do now is just gun it and pray, and the fact that there was a strider there just made everything so much worse. If only I could back hop, am I right? I cannot tell you how many times I died at this part. Probably hundreds of times. During one of my save loads, I legit was inside the floor for some reason, but that might have helped me actually, as I tried doing little tiny strafe things as I ran forwards into the lion's den. Or rather, the antlion's den. But somehow, some way, I managed to get enough luck and finally made it after hundreds of reloads. Then I finally took the right up. And now it's time for the end. Sadly, there's no epic final boss fight like last time, but we are not entirely out of the woods yet. After Brain escapes and I get my gun back, I had to carefully avoid all the gunfire and make it to the top, where I threw in the energy balls and blew up the— hold on a second! You actually technically don't need to kill Brain here. There's a special thing it can do called Brain Blast. If you don't know what Brain Blast is, basically while you're trapped in your prison pod, for some insane reason, if you save and load multiple times right after Brain yells "No!", you get no clip, and you can fly past everything and destroy the Citadel before he even reaches the top. Now, I wasn't able to replicate this in-game, but technically you don't need to. Well, well, well. Looks like I finally did it. Thank you for watching to the end of this video. So, can you beat Half-Life 2 without killing a single enemy? No! You need to at least kill 3 enemies in the game in order to beat it. That being the gunship at Nova Prospect and the 2 Striders in Follow Freeman. But hey, it's one less kill than the last episode! If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe for more content like this. Also, consider donating to my Patreon, where you'll be able to see behind the scenes stuff and support me personally, since, well, it takes a lot of time to make stupid videos like this. If this video gets 5,000 likes, I will finish my pacifist journey and try to beat all of Half-Life's expansions without killing a single enemy. All in one video. Anyways, that's all for now. I'll see you guys later.